Dude, what about... Dude, I have plenty questions about dreams, but like deja vu.
Oh, yeah.
How does that even exist?
Sure.
Like,
yeah, I can explain how deja vu works.
Yeah.
This is now understood by neuroscientists. So, and this is kind of an eerie thing about the nervous system. So you have an area of your nervous system called the hippocampus. Mm-hmm. Remember that movie Memento? Mm-hmm. Where the guy had damage to his hippocampus, he called it. Yeah. So he was like tattooing all that stuff on him, and the movie ran backwards. I'm still not sure that movie made sense.
I don't know.
I feel like bizarre. If I was... Right, yeah.
It was very bizarre.
Yeah, it was a bizarre movie. So the hippocampus is where you establish memories, and then it basically sends that stuff out to the rest of the nervous system, and it deals with it elsewhere, or it just discards it. I mean, a lot of what happens in sleep is forgetting all the stuff you want to, you don't want to remember everything. You don't want to remember this thing, and now you do. Yeah. Like, what a waste. Do you remember your childhood phone number?
I've had my of course.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I've only had like two. I have the same number cell phone.
Oh,
that
okay.
I've had
I was
when
going to say
got
still
it,
exists.
And my mom, where I grew up.
Oh, they're still there. Okay.
Same shit.
Well, I was going to say, usually if someone remembers their childhood phone number, it's a complete waste of brain space. That phone doesn't even exist. That phone number just exists. Very hard to forget that early stuff. Okay. But that's a lot of what happens during sleep. Okay. So there was an experiment that was done, really cool experiment, where they looked at the firing of neurons. Think about neurons as they're just nerve cells, and think about them as keys on a piano. The sequence that those keys are played and the intensity that they're played is the song, right? You wouldn't say that a particular song is, the E flat is a song. Yeah. It's the E flat that came after A, whatever. I'm not a musician, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. A memory is essentially just a sequence of neurons firing, just like a sequence of keys being played on a piano, okay? But what's wild is that a few years ago, there were techniques developed that would allow neuroscientists to play the exact keys that they wanted to in any sequence they want. So let's say that your memory of, what's a good memory of skateboarding? Just throw out one.
My first kickflip.
First kickflip.
Yeah.
So that memory is embedded in your brain.
Yeah.
That memory, whether or not you're visualizing it or not, is just a particular sequence of neurons firing. Mm-hmm. What they did is they took, let's just use this example. They took that set of neurons, let's say 10 neurons, and the order that they fired, and they decided to just start banging on all those at the same time, electrically, firing them, or playing them backward. And what they found is it leads to the exact same sense of experience.
Oh, wow.
So this is one of the fundamental mysteries about the brain, is like, what is the brain? What is the code? Right? What is the code? Is it the sequence that they're played in? And it seems to be, it's the collection of neurons, but not necessarily the order that they're firing in. Now, this is super important for learning. And there's actually a really important tool that comes out of this for learning. When you're, let's say with nollie heel flip, because you must feel sorry for me that I never really, I made a nollie heel flip.
Switch heel flip? Yeah. Let's reverse it. Let's turn it switch heel flip.
Switch heel flip to me.
We can go kickflip.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What about a hard flip?
No, it never had the hard flip.
Hard flip back tail?
Never had the hard flip back tail. No.
360 flip nose blunt?
No, and the people that knew me were just going to be like, definitely not. Like, they're going to call bullshit on Huberman if I try and say any of that. I had a decent, just nose blunt.
That's
decent.
That's a great trick.
I'll be really honest, the one trick that I will live and die by, that I absolutely love, that I really just mostly found in my 30s when I finally had the strength to do it, just a proper frontside grind on pool coping.
Oh, sick.
Like that, if I'm dying, there are a few things I'll remember. I won't mention the others, but that's definitely up there. That's up there. List. It's right there next to the other things. So basically, when you try and learn something, there's this focused, relaxed state that you want to be in, and then you want to go into sleep and a nap, ideally, if you can. Mm-hmm. But there are a bunch of papers that have talked about what are called gap effects. So I just said a moment ago, you want to get as many repetitions, just repeats of something. Repetitions may sound like in the gym, but repeats of something. Nollie heel flip, trying it till you make it.
Sure.
However, if you pause and do absolutely nothing and kind of turn off your brain, not text message, not think about the nollie heel flip, for about 10 seconds every few minutes or so, what they've discovered by doing brain recordings during motor learning is that during those pauses, the same neurons that are involved in generating the attempts fire but 20 or 30 times faster and in reverse. Now you go, what the hell is going on? This would be like you're trying to learn a song and then you stop trying to learn it and then it just naturally is happening 20 or 30 times over. So you're getting practice without practicing. It's amazing. And that's exactly what happens during motor learning in sleep. During sleep, your hippocampus is firing like crazy forward and back. It's training up the sequence. What they found is if you take these 10-second pauses where you just do nothing, you learn much faster because you're actually getting 20 repeats of nollie heel flip. Right. Now you actually have to nollie heel flip at some point.
Sure.
Okay. You can't just stand there and be like, oh, this is why like video games. Skateboarding video games came out. I was like, oh, God, kids probably think this is how you learn how to skateboard.
God, I never got into
Right.
them.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if there was like a slam effect where someone actually like clubs you over the head with a bat, that would actually feel like falling.
There you go.
Right. But but these pause effects, these gap effects as they're called rather, allow your brain to learn more quickly. And so this is a lot of what's happening. So deja vu is just a repeat firing. So you're walking down the street and all of a sudden you go, I think I've been here before. It was just that sequence of firing in your brain was close enough that it mimicked that.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, there are a near infinite number of things in the world to see, to think, to hear, people to meet, etc. Memories. You have to batch that. And so the brain is really good at eliminating information and only focusing on certain things. But every once in a while, it overlaps.
Yeah.
You know, and it's weird. It's also one of the more beautiful aspects of being a human being because every once in a while you start to think, you know, that person reminds me a lot of that person. That person reminds and pretty soon you start noticing patterns too.
Yeah.
And anyway, there are a bunch of rabbit holes we could go down with this, but I would say if you don't remember your dreams, that doesn't necessarily mean you're not learning in your dreams. Some people just don't remember their dreams.
Yeah.
And if you're one of these people that's waking up and you're still in that paralysis from REM, stop smoking weed.
Okay. Well, I don't smoke. We talked about the sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis because of me, because I smoke weed, and that's why I think that I can't remember some of my dreams sometimes. So
no, but I'm talking about like sleep paralysis, where you wake up and you're like, I can't move, and
that's more common in pot smokers. And
that's never happened to me.
Never happened to you?
But it happens to me. It happens to me quite a bit. I don't smoke at all.
It happened to Roger too, right? You don't smoke.
Yeah, it happened to me in Dubai.
In Dubai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you're just sitting there and you can't move at all, and you're just like stuck, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. You wake up and then it's
And you feel
terrifying.
like there's someone there.
And then you jolt, and then you can sort of get yourself out of it. Wow. Now, I'm not picking on the pot smokers. I don't judge. I don't care what people do. It was never my thing, but that's because, I mean, I think, well, for some people, you know, they like it because it puts them in that sweet spot of relaxed but focused. And, you know, I'm a believer that, you know, you don't really want the young brain exposed
for sure.
cannabis. Like your son, like like you probably want him to take some time, right?
Definitely. I don't want him to experience how I experienced my taste of smoking pot.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be not open for him later down the line, like when he's like 20 years old. Sure.
Well, we let
I'm sure
people
do that before. I don't know.
You never know.
Yeah. No, I don't judge at all. I think that, you know, I would say there are 5, maybe 6 ways that we learn to manage ourselves in life. First are behavioral tools, right? Skateboarding being a great one, but we talked about like vision and breathing, or I guess we haven't talked about breathing yet, but sunlight. Those are just some do this and don't do that kind of things most of the time. Those are very helpful in life. Then there's the whole business of eating. You have to eat sooner or later. So good nutrition, that kind of thing. Then there's supplementation. Then there's prescription drugs. Then there's non-prescription drugs. Then there's machines, brain-machine interface, right? There's all sorts of things we can do to change our nervous system and how it works. And, you know, that each one has its benefits. And I think being flexible is what it's really about. Being able to be alert if you need to be alert with or without caffeine. Being able to get to sleep even if you don't have your magnesium 3 and 8 theanine and you didn't see the sun that morning. You know, being a functional human being is about having some flexibility. It's never about being super rigid.
Where is that like button, right? Is it right here or right here?
Just a little scroll coming down the bottom.
It's
subscribe
over to it's on your
It's on my
left.
right? It's
No,
on my
on
left.
your left.
Hey,
Yeah.
hit that
Right there.
button right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah, please.
The like button's kind of like in the middle there. It's like we're kind of
it's like right here?
Kind of.
Like right
and
there?
the subscribe's like over to the left.
It's like right over there. All right.